This time, PUDcast is filmed before a live studio audience.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the PUDcast with Jason and Mike. I'm Jason.
I'm Mike.
And we're coming to you from the PUDcave, located here in Game Swap in beautiful downtown Lincoln in the great state of North Carolina. Mikey, brother, there's a lot going on.
Full house.
Brother, we have got a full cave, brother.
Yeah.
The PUDcave is full, and brother, you know,
it's
man.
not the Tanners.
No, it's not the Tanners. No. It's a lot cooler than the Tanners. You know, Mike, the cool thing about running a podcast is we can say when we want to end the Halloween season. Because, you know, last week we said, you know, this is the end of the Halloween season. Man, you know what? We decided we're going to take it one more week.
Might as well.
And, brother, what better way than to officially end this Halloween season by bringing back the First In Fright team, brother. And we got them right here in the cave tonight, man. Guys, thank y'all for coming. Woo. And, man, when I say the team, I mean, I'm talking about the whole team here, bro. Well, not the whole team, but a good amount of the team.
This is a PUDs After Dark, too.
Yes, man. This is
a late night.
This is kind of past my bedtime, man. I'm not even going to lie to you.
After Dark.
PUDs After Dark, man. Who knows what's going to happen tonight? We got the First In Fright crew. It's After Dark. Oh, man, Mike, I'm scared already, brother.
Everywhere we go, it's paranormal.
Well, we're definitely abnormal, so... We definitely got that going on. Well, guys, I'm going to let you guys go around and introduce yourself. Once again, this is the First In Fright Paranormal team. So we're going to go around. We're going to let everybody introduce who's in the cave. And, yeah, Ryan, let's start with you, brother. Everybody's kind of looking.
Well, there's a spoiler.
Pass the buck there. It didn't work too well. Hey, I'm Ryan Burleson with First In Fright Paranormal.
All right.
Don Adams with, I'm a photographer for First In Fright.
All right.
Oh, it's Gaddy.
Carol Humbert.
All right. Awesome. Okay, well, guys, once again, we appreciate you guys coming here. You know, it's been about a year, Ron, since last time you were here. And, you know, it was just you here last time.
Yep.
And, brother, like I said, you did bring the team in, and I cannot wait to dive in. And just I wanted to ask you, first and foremost, it's been a pretty busy year for you guys since last time we talked.
Very busy, yeah.
Would you like to talk about some of the highlights from this past year? I mean, we're definitely going to go into a lot of things in this show, but, man, you know, let's kick us off here. Tell us a little bit about what you've been up to.
Well, we've done a few residences this year. We've done we took our big trip last year to Trans-Allegheny and to Lake Shawnee Abandoned Amusement Park. We covered a lot of ground here in Lincoln, especially. We've continued to delve into some of the new places around town. Did the courthouse again this year, much bigger and better than last year. I didn't even think that was possible, but man, it really came together. It was a good time, and we got plenty more to go. Only 2 months left and plenty more to go.
Well, I tell you guys, I know obviously this is a little bit more recent, but one thing I definitely want to go into, and we can go into a lot more detail, was the shows that you guys had here at the Cultural Center here in Lincoln, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Now, that was a huge success.
It was.
And you want to talk a little bit about that, what went on? I unfortunately was unable to make the shows, but hey, I got you guys here to tell me about it. So, give me a little heads up here. What happened?
We wanted to give back. We wanted folks that follow us, folks that watch our Facebook Live events, that come out and join in on the fun. We wanted them to come out and meet us and actually investigate with us.
Right.
One of our favorite places is the Lincoln Cultural Center. It's active every time we're there. We capture great evidence every time we're there. And it's honestly one of my favorite places personally. But we brought everybody out. We sold tickets as cheap as we could at $10 a person and split that half and half with the Cultural Center to help support those folks as well. And we had a great turnout. I had 50 plus people there the first night, and I think 60 to 70 plus the second night. So it was it was a packed house for what we expected to happen.
Right, and I know a friend of mine actually came in from Rock Hill. A couple of friends of mine actually came in. They had nothing but great things to say. In fact, we actually got a little clip from her. I figured we'll play that maybe a little later on in the show. Yeah, but we actually reached out to one of y'all's biggest fans. So that's coming up here in just a little bit, but we don't want to dive into that right away. Right. Mike, you have anything you want to bring up?
I mean, you know, for being the success that it was, you weren't even sure really, you know, how it was going to kind of go. Because it's really the first time that, you know, anything's happened there like that, or the first time you've really tried this. Right. So you weren't really sure exactly how it was going to go. Yeah,
we knew the support. We know the support in Lincoln is huge for us. We've rarely ever had a naysayer in Lincoln, and that's why we stay here all the time. But we took a shot in the dark. No pun intended with the shot. But these guys will tell you, I wanted to rehearse it to a T. I know me and Carol, we both discussed it. We wanted to rehearse it to a T, and other folks were like, "Nah, just let it ride. Just be us." And man, it couldn't have worked out any better. It really couldn't have. It was a lot of fun. We had a good time.
And I know just from us doing our podcast, I think that's just sometimes the best way to do it, just kind of come in and dive in and just let it roll. I mean, obviously with you guys, we do have some questions and stuff like that, but I know most of the time we usually don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, we just kind of come in and just, what you want to talk about today, and just kind of let it roll. And I definitely think that that's part of the appeal with you guys too. Yep. I think that does resonate with people. Yep. I believe that they can feed off of that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we've also grown into trying to be more real, trying to be more of us. The first few months, I would say we didn't smile in a single picture. We just didn't know.
right. Kind of like a rap group or something.
We didn't know how to act, honestly. But the more you show, the more you present yourself, the more you get out there, and you're more open with what you're all about and what you stand for. I think that's what draws folks in and involvement. So.
It's that realness, it really is. People feel it, I mean, there's something about it. You can't fake that. You know what I'm saying? Right. I mean, you got to be real, and I think people just, you resonate with that,
Yeah, definitely. The courthouse.
The courthouse, yeah.
Bigger and better.
Yeah, bigger and better. A lot bigger and better, yeah.
How was it different this year as opposed to the year before?
I'd say we had a little bit more activity this time, especially in the bathrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Might need to hold the mic just a little closer. There you go.
I'd say this time we had a little bit more activity, especially in the women's bathrooms, a couple of the courthouse rooms.
Okay.
Yep. We were definitely more prepared this year.
Yeah.
Especially for the people surrounding the building last year and the outside noise. I think we kind of handled that better this year by having the viewing parties here at Game Swap and Untapped Territory.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
And we got more access to the building.
Absolutely.
Right. Because I know with the courthouse, I mean, there's certain places you can't go, I guess, anytime, I would assume. I've never been to the courthouse like that. I don't know. I'm happy to say,
Yeah.
But as far as like the magistrate stuff like that, but.
Well, and being able to go underneath the courthouse was our biggest thing.
Right.
I mean, there's
See
only
places that nobody else gets to see.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Only a handful of people have ever been there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then they allowed us down there.
That's pretty awesome.
That's really cool, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
the places that were only like rumored about, because you always hear if you're Lincoln.
Yep. It's the urban
natives
legends.
that there's always that talk about the underground under the courthouse,
the basement,
the secret passages, everything like that.
And then we roll up on Facebook Live and show everybody.
Yeah.
You kind of blow the doors open, man.
You can say that.
Yeah. Very few people can say that.
Yeah.
And I mean, you guys brought it to the public, and like I said, that is amazing. Because when I was growing up, that was always the big urban legend. Oh man, the courthouse is haunted. Seriously, I mean, I heard that all my life, and you guys actually went in there and showed it. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was an active night. With the staticless voice box. It sounded like we were sitting in a 1970s, 1980s court case at one point in time. The way it was talking.
Oh man, that's creepy.
Talking about CBS radio, and which has been out of business for 25 years.
Yeah.
And, it just seemed like we were stuck in time. I'm not sure 100% what time frame that was. And then the whole bathroom scene, that just when that thing in that recorder said "because," that was that made my hair stand up when I heard that. When my brother sent that to me, I was genuinely shocked. I didn't expect that.
Yeah. So there was definitely totally different feeling.
Yes.
This year
absolutely.
from last year.
Yes.
We were touched in that bathroom.
And I mean, we had, we want to thank Mike Payne of Game Swap and Untapped Territory, that family over there, for holding those viewing parties. I mean, we had, I don't know how many people here at one time. It was
always packed.
It was 20 plus easily over here, and over there it was easily 20 to 30 or 40 people over there at any given moment.
Yeah.
And then we came around and visited both parties prior to going in the courthouse. It was just great community involvement, and that's what we're all about. That's what we want to do, is get involved in the community and with the folks. And then the courthouse went ahead and gave us what it had to give us in evidence, and that's exactly what we were looking for, and you couldn't have asked for a better night.
No doubt.
I think I said it last time around when you were here. honestly, I think you guys are crazy, man. There is no way I would go in there and look for ghosts like that. I mean, just you talking about this stuff is just like, I'm like, no way. I watch it on Facebook.
For one, he couldn't stay up that late.
Well, for one, yeah. I actually did for that. I stayed up for that one, yeah.
He was hurting the next day.
Oh boy, man, let me tell you, it was a rough Saturday. But no, guys, you guys do have that, just that fearlessness, that courage to go in there and do that. Because, like I said, I've watched too many horror movies, guys, and every time I'm watching y'all on Facebook, I'm like, oh hell, here we go, well, let me ask you guys. Speaking of the creepiness and the fear and all that, what's the scariest thing that you guys have experienced in this last year?
I think it's to come. I still think it's to come.
I think it's to come in the future here very soon.
Yeah, I think in 2 weeks we're going to face that.
So, no, what exactly is coming up in 2 weeks? I know, but let's let the people out there that's listening here.
Ooh.
So in 2 weeks, on November 12th at 10 o'clock at night, we're going to hop in a van.
A 15-passenger van.
15-passenger van, 7 of us. We're loading up all the gear, and we're going to travel to Villisca, Iowa, to the Villisca Axe Murder House, which is one of, I would say, easily...
Alex is already squirming behind you.
Mind you, this is his bucket list, so he's the one suggested this nightmare.
It's kind of a joke at first.
Now it's getting real.
Yeah, now it's real.
Until we were like, oh yeah, we're really going to go. But we're going to go to the Villisca Axe Murder House, which ranks on up there.
It's one of the most, probably one of the
houses.
Most infamous
yes.
It's right
unsolved
next to the Lizzie Borden.
murders.
Next to the Lizzie Borden house, and it's going to be, when we got it from like 4:30 in the afternoon to 9 the next morning, and we're going to sleep in it.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was really nice knowing you guys.
Like I said, I think the best is yet to come.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, I said, a little earlier that we have a clip to play, and that actually goes into what we're talking about. You want to go ahead and play the clip? Because that actually goes into it.
Yeah.
And once again, this is a fan of you guys named Kara Hayes. Kara actually is the co-host of another show we produce called The Good News with the Reverend Doctor.
We met her at Comic-Con, didn't we?
Yes, you did.
Short Black Hair, yeah.
Yes. And she's actually the one who came to your show from Rock Hill.
Gotcha.
So I reached out to Kara to let her know you guys were coming, and she recorded something and wanted us to play it for you guys.
All right.
Hey guys, Kara here. Just wanted to say first that I really enjoyed the experience at the Lincoln Cultural Center. I absolutely see why you guys have chosen to do this as your hobby. It was really a lot of fun. My first question is, what piece of evidence could you capture, either video or EVP or anything like that? What evidence do you think you could capture that would convince non-believers that the paranormal is for real? My second question is, what piece of evidence are you most hoping to capture either at the Villisca Axe Murder House or at the hotel?
Wow, those are some amazing
Yeah,
questions.
say, she should have been here to host this show, actually.
I want each of us to answer this.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, I have an answer.
Yes, so do I.
So the first question about like a piece of evidence that would a non-believer. I think to me, there's been things that over the past, I guess, over the last little bit that we've been doing this, that it starts like it's unexplainable. I think the unexplainable is what really makes you intrigued and start like breaking down, like, is that just some piece of dust in the camera? Is that just somebody whispering on the EVP? And I think, unless you're really there, it's almost impossible to show a skeptic or let a skeptic listen to something, because they're just going to be like, oh, you've doctored that clip, or you've done something that explains it. Unless you're actually there, I think that's going to be the biggest thing that would make you start believing, like, hey, this is not really anything that I can explain that I'm used to. So that's what I would say to the first question.
I agree on that.
Just having to be there and experience it yourself.
For sure.
And it's funny because the skeptic's her husband, David Hayes. I call out David Hayes every week on the show about something. I love because he's a listener and a friend. But he's told me point blank, he said, I don't know about all this. We talk about it. I said, I don't know, brother. I said, I've been watching some of the footage and stuff, and I'm a skeptic too, Ron. We actually spoke about that.
We did.
But yeah, I'm telling you, some of that stuff's pretty compelling stuff.
I'm gonna say to answer her question for myself would be luckily we're not in place to convince anybody of anything.
Right.
The way we present our evidence is for you to take it or leave it. I'm not here to convince anybody of anything. None of us are. The things we capture, we share.
Right.
As simple as that. But I said it last year, to use the word believe or not believe, to me that's not what it's about. It's about does it exist or not.
Right.
Not do I believe in it. So I would never approach a skeptic trying to prove what we do correct or incorrect. I would never do that. I wouldn't want to do that. But here it is if you want to listen to it and walk away, which is what we do. We leave all of our stuff on Facebook and YouTube, and it's just I don't think that's how we view it. That's just not the type of team we are. We're not here to push an agenda whatsoever with anybody.
Right.
That's how I would answer the first question. Because we're all skeptics, so
that's why we do this, because we're skeptics.
We're still trying to prove ourselves wrong, honestly. So, and we're still doing it, which means we haven't been convinced yet. Although we continue to capture, voices and spoons flying across things.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
All this other stuff. I mean, it just as I or we, to my knowledge, are not out to push an agenda or to convince anybody of anything, because to understand the word paranormal, para simply means beyond normal.
Right.
That could be anything, guys.
That's
We're
true.
all not normal.
It's not. It's not normal.
For me, it's not really trying to convince anybody else. It's the same as what everybody else here has said, but it's to experience it yourself.
Right. Which
that's why we're doing it.
Because a lot of times there's that feeling in the room you cannot explain.
And I think that's what's so great about doing those shows like at the Cultural Center, because people can actually come in and experience it for themselves.
Yeah.
That's I don't know of any other paranormal team that does anything like that. I'm not saying there aren't out there, but I know personally I've not heard about that. And to have it right here in our community, that's pretty great stuff.
And we told those folks that night we can't guarantee anything, because we can't make this stuff happen. All we can do is ask it to happen and see what happens. And we were fortunate both nights that things did happen.
Right.
It took a while. I think the second night, like I didn't think anything was going to happen. The first night it was almost instantaneous when we sat down, turned the lights off. But the second night it was like I don't even know how long before anything really happened. So
I was a little worried.
I mean, it's nothing really we can control, but I mean, it is what it is, and it was very interesting, I think, for everybody that was there.
Well, I know Kara had a great time. We got to talk about it, and she enjoyed it. And now the second part of her question is like, what are you guys expecting to find at this murder, other than a terrible ghost or something? Your demise here. Other than that, what are you guys expecting to find? Anything?
Some courage.
Courage.
Yeah, that's I'm hoping to find some of that. Plenty of that,
brother.
I hope you don't seek it in me that night.
Oh gosh.
And you guys are spending the night. Did I hear that correctly?
Correct.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Correct. For me at the Villiscax Murder House, what I would love to capture there would simply be, I'm beyond the video there. I would want to capture children, or the killer's voice, or the mother or father, something significant enough to tell me that it's from that time and it's from that instance.
Right.
That's what I'm looking for. I know all have been captured in that home. I've heard them, and I've watched so much footage. It's unreal. But it's just the thought of staying the night in that house is just.
There's a lot of bad vibes there.
The problem is the living has really messed that house up with the Satan things and the seances that's been taking place in that house, and Ouija boards,
and
just the satanic practices that's come and gone. Even the owners have claimed to clean up after them, so I know it's happened. That's what bothers me more than anything is the safety of our team. And don't get me wrong, this place is rented out almost every night of the year, so it's definitely been over investigated.
Right.
And if there were that many bad things happening, it would be all over the news. So maybe it's not that active. I guess we'll see. Well, but knowing our luck,
it'll be active that night. Well, I tell you, why don't you tell the people out there listening exactly what happened at this house? What's the history here?
So the history of it is a mother and a father, a set of parents, they had 4 children, and they came home one night from a church service around 8:30 or 9, and there are 2 different stories that the man came in through the backyard and picked up an axe and entered the home late at night, or he was hiding up in the attic, which was the story that is believed to have happened. He was hiding up in the attic. 2 children that were the neighbors' kids actually stayed the night. And so there were 6 children in the house and 2 adults, and the man with the axe came in, proceeded to bash in all 8 skulls with an axe, the butt of an axe. I've also heard in several interviews through one interview that they beat the mother's head in with the sharp end of the axe, and I've also heard it was the husband that had the sharp end of the axe and everyone else got the butt end of the axe. And I'm not just saying one strike kill him, I'm talking 20 to 30 blows per skull. And there are still axe marks in the ceiling upstairs where he struck the husband. They're still there.
So this is a violent act here. And you guys are going to spend a night in this house. Like, once again, I just want to make sure I am understanding.
Yes. I don't know how much sleeping we're going to do.
No.
I don't think anybody will be able to get some.
We will definitely have cameras all over that house going the entire time. And but to move from the axe murder house, then we leave from there, drive another 700 miles, and we go to the infamous Stanley Hotel, which is where Stephen King came up with the whole idea and had the vision of the movie The Shining, which I just watched 2 days ago, finally in full. That's honestly, I think it's everybody's dream to go there, but it definitely is my bucket list. I've wanted to go there for a very, very long time, and we're actually staying in Stephen King's room the first night. Wow. And then the second night we're staying in the most haunted room in the hotel on the 4th floor.
Now, what kind of history does this hotel have?
It's all over the place.
Really?
It's all over the place of paranormal activity. Everything from children running on the 4th floor to, doors opening and closing, glasses shattering, your stuff being rearranged in rooms. And they all think it comes from the floating foundation, the way it was built by F.O. Stanley, because he built up there for cleaner air, I guess you could say, for his tuberculosis diagnosis. And the floating foundation is sitting on a rock. And so, the whole story of minerals and the earth, and it can fuel these things. But supposedly nothing happened prior to the wife's incident, the owner's wife's incident, when she walked into a room with a lit flame, and there was fumes in there, and it exploded. She fell through the floor, broke an ankle, continued to live, I think, up till, I don't remember the exact date she died, but ever since that instance happened, or when that explosion happened, that's when the paranormal activity began from there to now. So it's just going to be, honestly, we'll be roaming that building constantly with devices in our hands. And they actually told us, if you don't have a paranormal device in your hands, you're actually out of the norm.
Right.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like there's a physical, scientific reason for these things happening. Like you were talking about the minerals, causing certain frequencies and everything like that. That's really fascinating. I mean, because this is actually where the paranormal and like the quote-unquote supernatural can actually go into the world of actual physics.
Yep.
And I think that is absolutely fascinating.
We're still working on the dance hall. The dance hall is the most haunted building on property. We're still working on. I'm working on getting us in there. Trying to work that out with the Stanley staff and get in there and check that place out as well, and the stories behind it. But yeah, and then we'll be there for 2 days. Honestly, it's the most haunted house one night, the most haunted hotel in America the second and third night, and then driving 23 hours home. So,
right, brother. With probably very little sleep, I'm assuming with
sure.
that.
I'm very sure. Yeah,
not enough. And I imagine.
Yeah,
exactly. I can imagine these places aren't going to be, I guess what you would say, slow, as far as just people activity.
Yeah.
Just I'm sure it's a busy time for them.
It is. It's always a busy time for those guys, and it's really helping us at Villisca and at Stanley with Halloween just ending.
Right.
We'll be able to probably take a paranormal tour with the Stanley staff and pay for it, and it'll just be us on the tour. So we'll get them to our self of knowledge. We'll definitely do that one night with them just to learn even more than we know now. But we continue to research it, continue to try to understand it, and hope First In Fright captures First In Fright's evidence. Yeah. That's what I'm after.
And it'll all be documented from point A to all the way home.
It will be Facebook Live, YouTube.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes,
man. Video, whatever.
Be able to, yeah, exactly. Without leaving the couch or being possessed or killed. So that's amazing, man. Yeah, we're definitely getting the better end of that one.
Yeah.
Well, a good little segue here. I know last time you were here, Ron, we talked a little bit about your equipment that you use. Because, like I said, that's kind of what I'm interested in, some of the more techie stuff. Yep. Have you guys done, I know you said something on, I believe it was Facebook not long ago, about getting some new thermal cameras and stuff like that. Could you talk a little bit about the equipment you use, some of the stuff that you've maybe, some new equipment you've had and how it works, and, just kind of give an overview of the equipment and everything? Yeah.
Yes, we ended up getting two new thermal cameras here recently. They're great devices to have just for temperature fluctuation and things, especially for Villisca would be a great place. It doesn't have any power in the house, so it's going to be cold in the house. Right. So any temperature fluctuation there is really going to, not that we won't have chills up our spine already, but that'll send even more.
If I see something go across the screen on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those. We have an SLS camera. It's been down here recently. We're still working with that, trying to get it back up and running. That's the stick figure with the Xbox 360 sensor and screen and all. We have recorders, laser grids, REM pod,
flashlight,
spirit boxes.
We have 3 different types of spirit boxes.
That is the most commented on about piece of equipment that you guys have.
Absolutely.
This is spirit box. Everybody wants to know, what is this spirit box?
Yeah,
how does it work?
The staticless spirit box is how it works will continue to be a mystery, because we're not going to give away all of our secrets on how that thing operates, or where we found it at. But it honestly surfs and seeks, it roams through frequencies and internet radio waves, just like podcasts, just like this talk show, just like it goes through everything, just like from on the radio from our other 2 voice boxes on AM and FM. It runs through from 88.1 to 107.9, and it sweeps continuously in milliseconds based on how we set it. This is the exact same thing, except it's just the internet. But it takes away the static. You get more clearer answers. I'm actually putting together a mashup of the Taylorsville Hospital of all 4 Facebook segments, and I'm putting it all together, editing all that. I was doing it today, and one of them was when we asked how many of you were here, and we had the voice or the staticless voice box on, and it said 10, 4, 2, 7 or something. It's never even said numbers.
Wow.
Yeah. And that night when it floored us, because we've never heard numbers come out of this machine. So
that's.
And the ironic part is when I ask that, it's numbers come out when I ask a number question. So I don't know, but it's definitely going to be in there. But yeah, the devices, we continue to grow. We continue to try to get more. We keep getting asked about night vision cameras. I don't think folks understand there is no way to use a night vision camera on Facebook Live. There is not a way to do it. You can't stream with a handheld camera. It's impossible unless you have a very long cable to go into a laptop or to
Right.
That's the only way you can do it. So we're still looking at a night vision camera, hopefully soon, to where we can still film all the time and use that for YouTube footage to where you can see in the dark, so on and so forth.
Right. And you were talking about the hospital, Taylorsville Hospital.
Yeah.
And do you want to talk a little bit about that? Because I know that's been a series on YouTube. I was catching up with some of that today myself to prepare for the show. I'd definitely like to get into some of that. Kind of give the people out there, the what's up with that.
I actually just hung up with him, Chris in Taylorsville. I'm not going to say his last name, but Chris in Taylorsville and the city of Taylorsville and Alexander County. We want to thank those guys for allowing us to do it for the second time. But this time we stayed all night. We had a few issues with trespassers throughout the night. Cops involved. Really appreciate the police helping us with that and being on standby to help us out for our protection. As far as activity goes, Alex, Carol.
Well, I was one of the smart ones and didn't spend the night that night.
That's true. That's true.
No, I had to take the husband home and
Yeah.
take care of him. But
And a shout out to Jeremy Humbert and Andy Burleson, two of the other team members that aren't here also.
Absolutely.
I felt like it was a pretty active night for the most part. I think the stranger thing was when we all went to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Because I know one time I heard a chair slide down the hallway. It was a metal chair. I knew exactly what it was.
I kept hearing things too.
Yeah, and then I'm getting
I even
texts from
texted. I
Alex.
texted Ryan. I was like, "Is that y'all?"
I'm like, no, and he's like, dude, I hear stuff. I'm like, just go to sleep. And that's the last
He
thing.
always,
okay.
He always tells me that. Just go to sleep.
Yeah, I knew
Okay.
that. Sure. Yeah.
If y'all are anything like me, I'd sleep with background noise type fan or
Yeah,
radio or something, and down there it was dead quiet. You could hear everything.
And
Can't do it.
at one time, it sounded like something rustling through our room.
Yeah.
Probably was a rat.
Oh,
It
no.
could have been.
Well, that's scary too. I mean,
Just go stay in an abandoned hospital. The creep
It's-
factor
yeah.
is through the roof.
high.
We've done that a few
Even-
times. It's terrifying.
it's like our third time.
Keep doing it.
I don't know what's wrong with us.
let's go to an even scarier one, y'all. Come on.
I mean, do you ever just worry about that? Like you were saying, like abandoned places like that, and you were talking about trespassers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
That's more scary than ghost, honestly.
to me, that's like,
Yeah, that threw
you
a
never know.
whole big different excitement into the night for sure.
Yeah,
for all
because you
of
never
us.
know what's going through people's
think-
minds.
Right. Especially in places like that.
Yeah.
That's definitely got to attract, maybe a different kind of person, I mean, not just you guys,
Yeah.
because, like I say, y'all got to be a little crazy anyway to do what y'all do.
Well, I mean,
but I'm talking
even
like
the fact
legitimately crazy here.
That they could not even know what you were doing at all,
Right.
and just be there to just do whatever they're going to do.
Oh yeah, you walk in some of those places that haven't been in, and you think they're abandoned. I think one of our funniest encounters though is walking into the hospital in, was it West Virginia?
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah, South Pittsburgh.
No, another one. A gentleman invited us on, and we went to the back to the dark room, and there was a huge
Yeah.
bird there.
Oh,
guarding
man.
one egg.
Oh yeah.
But it was
The bird was about this tall.
But it was hovering over its eggs,
and
right?
it was hovering over its eggs.
It looked like a
A massive bird.
It was a massive,
I
massive.
think it was like a turkey vulture. Or
Yeah.
Oh,
that's what-
wow.
That's what it was.
something.
That's
Yeah,
what it
to be
was.
Pitch black and to walk in and
To a walker.
Yeah, no, I'm done.
And
Done.
that's actually on the live. That's actually on the live feed. I just looked at her recently. It's on YouTube. I think it's under the Manor or the Loft. One or the other of those YouTubes. Yeah, it's on there. I get it on
Wow.
footage.
Yeah, that's the scariest
Check that
thing.
out.
Well, it's like you said a little earlier, Ron. It's actually the living you have to fear more than dead,
Yeah,
really.
absolutely.
And that would absolutely trip me out. Well, speaking of tripping me out, let's talk about some of the stuff that has happened. Some of the stuff caught on tape. I know we talked a little bit about that, and I know there's definitely one thing I want to talk about. I know me and you've talked about this in the past, but it was an incident at the country club here in Lincoln. That really got me. Like I say, I'm a skeptic, guys. I'm not going to lie. I look at everything kind of like, oh, let's see what's going on here. There was a fork that moved off a plate.
Not just moved.
No, it flew off, and I was like, okay, I'm done, and I'm never going back to the country club ever. That,
We were just the
We've seen
opposite. We were
stuff
there
move.
like the next week.
yeah, you're like, let's go.
well, for us to sit there and be eating lunch and then it happened, and we're just all looking at each other, but then for it to happen on camera
Yeah.
again.
No,
on
that's
command, yeah, I mean that's just
And that's what warranted
that makes me a believer.
That's
Yeah,
what warranted the entire setup.
Yeah.
A lot of folks
Right,
ask,
right,
why
right.
did we do that? Well,
Yeah.
we set it up because of the way we had lunch or dinner the previous weekend. So we set it up the exact same way, the exact same table, exactly almost the place where Carol and I were sitting, where her plate was right between us. And we're all just sitting there talking, and I look over at Carol, and the fork spun, or the knife spun inside the plate, and I look at her, she looks at me, I look under the table, I look back at her, no one's touching the table, and she said, a few choice words, and she was like,
It literally like scared the bejeebies out.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
She was like,
That'll make
did
you
you
believe
see that? I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I saw it. So that was the reasoning for doing that whole setup again, and then we put a camera right on it, and luckily none of us were standing in front of that camera. That was the first thought that
Right, yeah.
ran through my mind. But I mean, you can see the video on Facebook. It has a lot of views where Jeremy walks over the table, picks up the K2 meter, and walks back toward the bar, and it springs right off the plate.
Spins.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've
like
actually
the
heard
swamp.
people arguing over that.
How they can argue all they want.
Yeah.
Really. That, I don't know. There's your skeptics all over the place
Right.
anyway. But
Yeah.
we were all the same way too, because Andy was. We were all trying to debunk what had just
Right.
happened. Andy was like jumping up and down on the floor trying to make the table shake. We all went and watched the video and watched the video and watched the video.
Well, listen, look at it. He's already walked away,
Yeah.
and the fork falls off of it after he's already walked away. So it can't be any kind of. He didn't touch the table or anything. He just picked it up off of it.
And even if the table did move, the fork would slide in the plate.
It
It
wouldn't
wouldn't spring
have went
up
the
in
way
the
it
air and over and do a complete flip.
Well, it would
Right.
have been all four of them instead
Right.
of just one.
That's a good
The
point.
others stayed.
But he makes it
completely
very
still.
clear in the
Right.
video that the fork was leaning inward, and it was. It should have slid off into the plate if the table was shook. But it didn't.
No, when I saw that video, I was like, I'm not going to say the choice word that I said. We're trying to clean up the podcast a little bit with the cursing and everything, but I definitely let out a big one. I was like, yeah, F that, man. That's all I'm going to say. Well, guys, the first thing that I believe it was the first time you guys did the courthouse. Once again, being a skeptic, I was watching at home, but you guys had a receiver. And I know I believe you asked the question, how old are you?
Yeah.
And this is what got me, because I was actually I have a confession. I was kind of watching it, kind of not. I was doing some other things. I had it in the background. And I heard a voice say 40. I was like, whoa, okay. So I stopped what I was doing, and I went straight to that. And I got chills. And that's when I'm like, maybe there's, because I know you guys, in the world of professional wrestling, there's something that's called a work, which is something that's not true or something that's presented. And I know you guys aren't working the community. I know you guys are sincere. And I know that. And so when I heard that, I was like, okay, there's something going on here, because like I'm the first one to say, maybe that was, at the McDonald's drive-through or something like that. Maybe it was a frequency crossover or something. But when you said, how old are you, and I distinctly heard 40. I mean, come on, man. Yeah, that gave me chills, and that's when I started paying attention. I'm not gonna lie, that's when I really started paying attention to you guys.
I mean, like you were saying earlier, I mean, how often do you hear numbers
Right.
through those spirit boxes?
To me, it's not even about what it says. To me, it's about when it says it.
Right.
The irony behind a particular question and then getting a particular answer is slim to none, more or less none. And then it continues to happen over and over. Maybe there's something to it. Maybe there's not. It's not our place to tell. It's just the devices that, by the way, none of these devices have been proven to contact the paranormal. And we know that, but here we are still chasing. So who knows?
Got to be something to it, or you guys wouldn't still be doing this.
Right.
I mean, that's for sure. Now, I know I asked you guys a question earlier about the scariest thing that's happened, and I know you guys said it's yet to come, but what has happened up to this point? Then you could say that really just maybe made you question actually maybe getting out of this thing.
I wouldn't say necessarily this is not to get out of it, but I guess really what got me hooked is when Ryan and Andy and I went to
The combination of Randy, Team Randy, Team Randy.
They combined to form one entity.
Brother, that's from here on out right there.
It's we went to the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum for the first time. That was my first experience really with the paranormal or doing anything like that. And we went up there and we were on one of the top floors, I think it was, and we were sitting down and Ryan had this mag-light flashlight, and this was the first time that we really had, I think to Ryan's experience, this was the first time that they had used that. And we put it in the hallway and we started asking them questions. All of a sudden it started coming on. And I was like, okay, now it's a little bit different. I mean, it's a twist mag light. It don't just come on its own. Like there's got to be something here. So we were sitting there, And we started asking some questions, and the questions were like, were you a patient? And it was coming on and off to our questions pretty good, and then it just kind of stopped. It wouldn't answer any more questions. The light wouldn't come back on. And then all of a sudden we started hearing what sounded like somebody coming up the stairs down the hall. So we're just standing there as a group, and we all shine our lights down the hall because we think somebody else is in the building coming up and is going to pop out. Well, nothing ever came, but the sound started getting louder, like it was coming towards us. And at this point, I started to freak out. Like I'm like, this is not. There's nobody coming, and it's footsteps coming down the hallway. And I think at that point I was like either on top of Andy's shoulder, or I was pretty close to Andy, and I was like, what is that? And Andy's like, I don't know. And so it just finally came up, and it's like something kind of, I describe it as a growl. And it's hard to explain. If I heard it's impossible to make this noise of what I heard. But we were just standing there, and it's like this growl came up to us, and like I kind of put the whole scenario together. Like the patient was there, it stopped answering the questions because it knew maybe like a guard or somebody was coming up down the hall, and then that's what happened. And ever since then, I've been hooked. So since that moment, that's when I knew this is super interesting.
That story just gave me goosebumps hearing that. That's crazy. Carol, about you? What's an experience that scared you the most, or had you like, maybe I should find something different to do here?
Probably for me would be Trans-Allegheny. We're sitting in a room with two other people. It's me and two other people, a male and a female, and it's the room where two inmates bashed and killed another gentleman, but they had to like really forcefully kill him over and over, bashing his head. So we go in, we sit down, and first everything's normal, total black room, everything's quiet. We start asking questions. Then all of a sudden, the female that's with us, she's like, I'm just not really feeling good. Just all of a sudden. Now, normally this person's really upbeat, happy. She starts getting a little angry. And she's like, I'm just not feeling this. I feel really different. So we stay in there for about 5 more minutes asking questions, and all of a sudden we're like, we got to go. So she's walking out. He walks out. I walk out. She walks out. And we still have the crazy feeling, but when we go back and we listen to the EVPs, as we're walking out the door, you clearly hear somebody say, "Where are you going?"
Oh, no.
We're the only 3 in the hallway.
No, man.
As soon as we leave out of the room, she totally goes back to normal, and she's fine.
Do you think there was a little bit of a possession or some sort of?
I don't know if it was a possession, but it was definitely something that she couldn't control. And that she would definitely not lie about.
And a year before that trip, I was
going to say that happened to me. Probably at the same spot because I got sick. Like I felt like
Alex and Michelle.
I got so sick from that.
A mom and a daughter we met. There was 5 of us, and Alex and Michelle left that same corridor sick the year before.
Wow, that's insane. No, that's very creepy. Actually, Dawn, how about you? What's the scariest moment that you've experienced so far? Other than coming on this podcast.
Yeah. We're doing good so far this time. Last time
I was going to say, this is actually your second time here on the podcast.
An open mic.
I learned my lesson the first time.
And you came back?
Yeah. I brought my team with me this time.
There you go, though. You got some backup now.
I didn't show up by myself. I'm not really sure about far as the scariest. When I went with them to Trans-Allegheny, and I'm mainly documenting everything, so I'm always watching what they're doing more than I am paying attention to what other surroundings is going on.
And we took you in the middle of nowhere. He didn't even know us.
I know. That was the scariest.
That's scary.
That was the scariest.
That's scarier than the podcast.
That was the scary part because there was, especially at the abandoned amusement park, out in the middle of nowhere. I did think that when I went to sleep in the car. Was like, what am I doing out here in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of people that I don't even know and all this kind of stuff. So, but the Trans-Allegheny, a bunch of us were on, I think, the 4th floor and just doing EVPs and listening, and I don't know, going back and listening to the EVPs and hearing things that you did not hear.
Right. That's
that will hook you pretty quick.
What was these things saying?
In one of them, there was footsteps,
Right.
and you could hear someone talking. And as they got closer to the recorder, it was, where is she? And none of us said that. None of us heard that or anything. It was a deep voice, too, on top of that. So when they sent me that back, that, hey, this is what happened
while you were there.
And I knew nobody said that.
Uh-uh.
So after that, I was yeah, that did it.
I think that same voice is the same one that was looking for the female that was with me.
Yeah.
Probably.
You know, it's so funny because you guys are, as you're telling these stories, y'all have the same response at the end. It's like, that's what hooked us. That's what got it. And I'm over here like, that's when I would be like, I'm seeing you guys later, man. I'm out.
And I think
you just got to go with us and experience it.
No way. No, I've seen too many
Looks
horror
like I
movies.
got a skedaddle.
Yeah. That's my bedtime, y'all, for real.
Everywhere we go, it seems like when you're there, it's like a subtle type thing.
Right.
Or for me, anyway, it's not really in your face type stuff. It's very subtle, and you can miss it if you're not paying attention. And then when you go back and you start listening to some of this stuff, and you're like, I didn't hear that to begin with, or
It's like, who's in here with me?
I hope 2 weeks from now it's anything but subtle.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I hope we come back and we're just absolutely terrified. Re-guessing this hobby.
I just hope y'all are able to come back next year. Now, Ron, how about with you? What is the most? I guess I've been saying the scariest moment that made you kind of question. But what was the moment that you're like, okay, man, I'm in on this?
It's so funny. I was actually sitting here grinning as soon as Alex started talking. It actually hit me that today, I'm pretty sure it was early this morning, my brother sent me a still picture that I've never seen before, and I've not shown anybody in this room this still picture.
We're looking at you like, huh?
Yeah. So,
oh man, it just got controversial here in the
Wait a minute, now,
podcast.
Andy's taking pictures. I didn't know.
No,
Andy was
no.
taking-
Oh, hey, you heard it here first on the podcast.
So this is going to be something. This is going to be something really good for the listeners. All right. So we will put out a post after this podcast, and once this has been released, we're going to let everybody know that if you hear this story, all you have to do is message us, and I'll send you this picture.
Okay.
Oh wow.
That sounds awesome, man. Great.
Yeah.
All right.
And that includes us too, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to show you. I'm going to show everybody this picture.
Okay.
It'll go with the story. Okay.
Okay.
It's the exact same story I told last year.
All right.
And that's the bad part, is that I'm just now being sent this, or was given this, which he's always re-reviewing evidence, always. He's always going back over what we've gone over. And Alex, do you remember the night in the Cultural Center when that cold draft came off the stage and went around
I
us?
remember that story.
Yes.
All right, so if any of our followers have made it to this point in the podcast,
First of all, God bless y'all. for doing that.
all you've got to do is say, I'm messaging you guys for the picture you promised to send me in the podcast, and I'll put it out there. But I'm sitting next to the stage, or next to the door. It goes out to the stage. As I'm sitting there, we're asking questions. The flashlight's coming on and off. I feel really uncomfortable, and I feel a draft, what felt like a cold draft, come off the stage, come around into the doorway, and comes around me. Now, I'm sitting on the ground, Indian style. Alex is sitting next to me. I voice it that I feel it, that there's a cold draft. I told Alex it was heading his direction. Then he felt it, and my brother says, well, let me turn the 4K camera towards you. And that's the photo I have, is the 4K camera. I've never seen it before, but it has night vision, and he turned it. Into my knowledge, for this whole year, I've not known we captured anything at that point in time. And I'm not saying this is anything, but it's awful ironic that it happened at this point in time. But then they proceed to ask, if you're upset, turn on the flashlight, it comes on, it goes back off, and then my brother asks if you want us to leave this room, we'll leave, just turn on the flashlight, boom, it comes on, everybody gets up and leaves except me. I feel extremely uncomfortable. I feel like I'm going to be harmed if I move or get up. And I said it last year, I don't get feelings when I do this, but this was completely different. And yes, I was scared. I didn't want to move. I was good right where I was. So eventually Jeremy came back in, realized I didn't come out, coached me into getting up, and I got up and walked out. So on the PUDcast, I'm going to show everybody the moment this took place. This is Alex sitting in a chair, and that's what's looking through the door at me, whatever that is. I'm sitting on the ground right under it. And this, whatever this is, where that open door is, I don't know.
All right, now we haven't
now,
seen
is this
this
the
yet.
same one?
Yeah, me and Mike are kind of in the corner like, hey, what y'all doing?
That's the 4K facing Alex, and I'm sitting down behind him, and that's the open door. That same night.
It looks like a bunch of little kids.
Hey, we won't see. We won't see. Oh man, get that out of here, dude! No, man, no, I ain't want to see that. No, look at that. No, I don't want to see that no more. No, I ain't looking no more.
You see, Alex, I'm sitting Indian style on the ground behind him, so you can't see him. But that's the open door back there, and that's what.
No, man, no, get that out of here.
That room was pitch dark too.
That spot.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Mike! I'm done, man. Y'all have a good one. I'm hitting. I'm getting out of here, man.
Hey,
I'm telling you, there's something about that room.
There is.
I said, y'all want to go to the green room?
No, I want to go home.
The green room.
I want to go into the bed. Is what I want to do. That is creepy. Hey guys, seriously, hit Ryan up on this. You want it? Well, maybe you don't want to see it. I don't know, man. That's
you definitely want to see.
You want to see this?
Yeah, you want to see.
No, that's
for sure.
It's
insane,
so
man.
funny that it's the and I even have the text that'll mark it. He sent it to me this morning, and that has nothing to do with this podcast. He was just, hey, I'm going back through stuff. Check this out. This is the same night you had your instance, and it's so funny it lands on tonight or today.
Because I know when you were here last time, that story got to me, and that was and that picture you just showed gave me goosebumps for real, man. That's
and so everything.
I mean, that's
with
like,
it being in the spot,
and it's like three distinct.
But it's just right where it's at. It's at that doorway. It's right where I was feeling everything.
Yeah.
And if anybody asks for this picture, then. Yes, it is a purple pinkish tint because it's night vision, okay? But it is completely dark in that room at that time.
It's there, brother. It's that's intense.
Wow.
That's very intense.
Stop trying to hold my hand.
I'm scared, Mikey. Hold me, Mikey.
It's okay. It's all right.
Guys, that was that's surreal. I mean, that's creepy as hell right there. Well, guys, let me ask you, what does the future hold for First In Fright?
We're going to continue to dig. I feel like 2020 will be more of a laid-back year for us. Once again, I said it last year, we've gone full bore for a complete year, and now it's turned into 2. But next year, I think we're going to let things come to us.
All right.
I'm just going to graze the surface here, but we got a tidbit of good news the other day, and we hope it turns into something, because if we do, it'll be the biggest thing we've ever done, and we really hope that turns out to be what we hope it could turn into potentially.
Absolutely.
So I take it.
So it'd be mind-blowing.
It would definitely be mind-blowing, and it will be a life-altering dream. So
it'll be bigger than the Axmoor house.
Yes.
Bigger than,
Yes.
than the Stanley.
yeah.
Yes.
Bigger than coming on the PUDcast?
No.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
I'm done.
Especially for North Carolina people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
So
Wow.
we're hoping that unfolds. It's going to take a month or 2 for that to unfold, but then we have the big trip in 2 weeks. Then that's all we're doing in November, because we'll need the other half of the month to sleep.
To recuperate, yeah.
In December, we've got a massive site here in Lincoln we're going to go check out, that we're going to investigate live. We've done walk through it, checked it out, done video, done everything with the owners. Looking forward to that. Probably take the end of December off, and then we're going to let things come to us. Right now we have several residential areas, including actually today about children being harmed and things happening in a house, and so we're going to get out there and try to help out some residents and try to get things settled in some homes that are struggling with this. And then we're going to continue to push YouTube and Facebook and our social media platforms and get this thing where we want it to really take off.
I tell you, that's what's great about this time. It's like you can use social media. You know, you don't have to be on one of the big networks or anything like that. You can keep it real. You know, you don't have to sell out, as they say. You can actually, the community. And that's what I was telling my friend Kara, actually, and I was talking to her husband as well. And I was like, the thing about this town, and I know we talked about this some at the Comic-Con even, and even maybe last year. The thing about Lincoln is this community gives back as much as you put into it. Yep. We do watch out and we look out for our own, and I think it's great that you guys are doing that for this community. Like I said, it's an honor to have you guys here, and it's an honor to be a part of what you guys are doing, man. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
Mike, anything you want to ask these guys here?
Absolutely.
All right.
Comes down to it. You know what time it is. I'm going to ask each of you top 3 horror movies.
Nice.
Favorite.
Oh my God.
Nice.
Ryan, let's go first. I know you did it last year. Didn't we do it last year? Top 3 or 5?
We did 3s, 5s of 3s or whatever.
Yeah.
The threes or something. Yeah.
Top favorite horror movies. I'm not a big horror movie fan.
I know,
You live the horror movie, man. You're
horror thriller.
You want me to go around?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
The top one probably be because I'm terrified of Ventriloquist Doll's Dead Silence.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I absolutely. Those things and clowns absolutely freak me out. Insidious, that's the top one. What was the third one I just had? I don't know. The Insidious, the first and the second one, I think, were pretty creepy.
Okay.
Those are good.
But Dead Silence, that's definitely. Oh my gosh.
If you ever get a chance, speaking of ventriloquist, check out The Ventriloquist. The Ventriloquist with Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, okay.
That's a creepy, really creepy horror flick.
I remember.
I was
It's
tortured as a
unnerving.
kid.
Yeah.
My cousin had one, and it was.
There's something about them.
Paranormal Activity. That was the third
creepy,
one.
man.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Carol?
Oh man, I can't remember a bunch of movies I watched.
I
would have to say Exorcist.
Yeah.
As a child,
Absolutely.
that terrified me, and still to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one burns deep.
Yeah.
It really does.
The love story of Titanic.
He could have fit on that
was
door.
Scary, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's a
There's a lot of messed up stuff going on.
There was room on the door.
Yeah, he did.
You know,
Probably a lot of his movies are creepy.
I like the
gory.
Halloween movies.
Yes.
Yeah,
Great.
Halloween.
That's great. All right. Dawn, how about you?
I don't want to hear it for the next 6 months.
What about the next
Here
year?
we go. Here we go.
Yeah, I'll be getting texts from Mike later. I don't know. I try to watch all horror movies. I've been watching horror movies since I was 3, I think. My grandmother would get me up in the middle of the night to watch horror movies with her. Yeah, it was bad. So, The Exorcist is always, if you want to scare somebody, get them to watch that. For me, I have a lot of favorites. The Shining's one, Silence of the Lambs.
That's a great one. We were just talking about
that.
that
Silence of the
one.
Lamb.
You know, and it's always the first ones. It's never,
Yeah.
You can always play on stuff, but the first one's always, for me anyway, it's mostly the best ones.
Right.
It's all like the classic stuff mostly. For new stuff, I did like The Conjuring.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah.
You know that I don't know. I sort of rate horror movies now on whether or not I even jump during them.
Right.
I'd go and if they're good, they're good. But if they make me jump, then yeah, I'm really that did it. So, but yeah, The Exorcist. I like some of the older ones better than any of them.
Well, you know, me and Mike were even talking on the last podcast about there was something about those 80s horror movies especially.
Well,
they were just so good. It was something, they had a feel to them, you know.
Well, the graphics were horrible.
But it was so good,
if
though.
you watch The Evil Dead, that is one of the most horrifying movies for many reasons.
for more than one reason.
I mean, the graphics were terrible, but yeah, the 80s were awesome for horror movies. I think they're trying to make a comeback now.
Yeah.
And they're doing a good job with it, so.
It's just something about those classics. Like I said, those 80s. So, we actually talked about The Thing on the last podcast, because I just watched it for the first time a couple weeks ago to prepare for our yeah, it was the first time I've ever watched it. Got to watch it in HD Glory 5.1 for the first time.
Body Snatchers.
Oh, yeah, that is a good one.
That was a good one.
That is a good one. You know, one was it Heredity?
Heredity.
Yeah, Heredity was a pretty good one, actually. That's a recent one. That was a pretty good one. Ron, how about you? What's your top?
Anything I say would be copycat or cliche now. So I'm good.
Just like ditto.
Sorry.
Yeah, all across the board.
Sure.
Across the board. Well, guys,
The Metallica year and a half in the life of
Metallica.
Yeah, is that the scariest?
Yeah.
I always give him crap about Metallica.
He does.
Anytime I get a chance.
Hey, Master of Puppets is a masterpiece, man. I mean, come on now.
Metallica, some kind of monster.
Yeah, that was a horror movie right there.
Wow.
No, it was all right, man. You know.
Yeah.
Puppet Masters was good.
That was a good one.
Basket Case, that was always a fun one too. Yeah, that was kind of one of those fun type horror movies.
Yeah.
Well, guys, Mike, anything you want to kind of start closing us out here, bro?
Y'all took it easy on us this year.
Yeah, man, we didn't get on to. Well, I was going to say, is there anything you guys want to add? Anything that we definitely, we definitely don't have to.
One thing I did want to ask: will the courthouse investigation be a yearly thing? Will that be an annual thing now?
Nice.
Or are you guys kind of done with the courthouse? Kind of happy with how it went?
That you made it out.
There's a lot of different stuff going on with the courthouse in Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
With them changing locations.
Yeah, that's true.
That's right.
They're moving the court out of the courthouse type thing.
Right.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of changes within the courthouse here. So we're not really sure what will become of the building later, what they're going to do with it, what they'll have in it, that type of stuff. So it'll change far as what we have to go through probably to get in access to the building, but I'm not really sure. I mean, I think everybody would want to go back.
I would definitely be down to do it one more time.
Yeah.
Right.
A couple times.
But we'll have to wait and see what's going to go on with it.
That actually brings up a question I have. I know you guys have had a lot of access to this place. Is there any places in the courthouse that you still weren't allowed to go? The master's office. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Because of the bringing in prisoners.
Right, because they're always open there.
It's still active courthouse.
Right, exactly.
So they have to limit you do some stuff.
Exactly. So when they do move out, that will give you guys theoretically full access to the building, maybe for the first time. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you would have asked me that right before the courthouse, I would have said no. There was just so much. There was so much to do, to get prepared for, and I guess I brought that on ourselves, with all the viewing parties and all the things that had to be prepared for that. So I guess mainly that's more or less my fault. But I will say this: I would love for it to be an annual event. I feel like. I don't know why I'm even saying this, but I feel like we owe that to the community, because that's the biggest, most iconic building in the community. And the second time you do it, you walk away with evidence. To me, like I said last year, that warrants another investigation.
Right.
So if it becomes an annual thing, I can assure and promise this, and I regret saying this, but we will one way or the other, we will make it bigger and better every single time we do it, whether that's adding viewing parties or adding even other ideas or filling up a cultural center with a big screen or whatever we've got to do.
Oh, that'd be cool.
We will do something just unheard of, because that's what we're doing, is something unheard of.
Getting bigger and growing.
Awesome.
Yeah. That would be amazing, actually, to set up in the cultural center to do that. That would be something else, yeah.
Heads up, Kathy G. Davis.
I'm already thinking, thanks, Ryan.
We love you.
Thanks a lot.
But definitely get on Facebook, follow us, like us, to keep up with us with our posts, everything going on with all our Facebook lives. Hop on YouTube and subscribe. That is one of the biggest things right now we've got rolling, and going. That's where we can really put out some great footage that is edited, and you can really hear things clearly, including the courthouse evidence and all that. If there's anyone out there that wants to help us on our trip, we do have a GoFundMe.
Okay.
You can hop on GoFundMe.com and type in First In Fright Paranormal and go there and donate. $1 helps, $100 helps, $1,000 helps. It doesn't matter how much you donate. Every little bit goes toward equipment costs, purchasing new equipment. That's how we got the thermal cameras off an awesome donation from some awesome people, and that's how we keep this thing going. And we really appreciate everybody's support. And we can't wait to bring this trip to everybody live. We cannot wait to do it.
And you know, guys, like we were just saying a little earlier, you know, talking about the GoFundMe. Once again, this community will definitely give back what you guys put into it, and you guys have put in a lot to this community. So just like Ryan was saying, Puds, go out there, help these guys out. Subscribe to the pages, follow them, you know, share it.
Yep.
You know, this, I mean, once again, we're in this age of social media where one click can really make the difference. I mean, one person out there can see this thing, and they can click, and I mean, yeah, man, it can spread, but you just got to take the 5 seconds to hit that click. And
The biggest thing you can do for anyone on Facebook is share.
Share it.
Is share that post. That gets it to their 100 friends, and one of them share it to their 100
right.
friends.
Thank
So
you.
on, you expand, you grow, you become. So it's really, yeah, it's, you know, think about it today as, you know, there's kids sitting around at home watching people play video games on a computer,
Yeah.
donating hundreds and hundreds
Yeah.
of thousands
Yeah.
of dollars to a video game.
And that aggravates the hell out of me.
And
Let me just
we're
put
out
that
here
out there.
with tons of equipment, and you know, if this is your thing, then hey, invest in it, help
Yeah,
us out.
yeah.
We're all for it.
Yeah, because once again, this is, you know, pretty much open source. I mean, you
Yeah.
know, once again, you don't answer to anybody. It's you guys, and that's what makes it so great, because it's you. It's real. It's
Yep.
not scripted. It's not Hollywood. It's real.
Like
And
we
it's
said
here,
last year,
you
it's a
know.
10-second delay. That's
Amen.
it.
Amen,
10-second delay on Facebook Live.
Brother.
Yep.
I mean, you can't get any better than that. Well, guys, is there anything you guys would like to say? Alex, Carol, Dawn, Ron, obviously. What do you guys would like to tell the Puds out there?
I would just like to say thank you to everyone for making our hobby, our dream come true. We appreciate the support.
Nice.
And the more you support us, the more we bring to you. So thank you.
Absolutely.
And definitely watch out for the upcoming trip, because I think it's going to be definitely something that people are going to want to watch.
Yeah.
'Cause I know I'm going to be freaking out.
Be wild now.
It'll be well worth watching.
Well, I know we'll be watching mine.
Oh, yeah,
for sure.
definitely.
I mean, yeah, I just want to thank just everyone involved. I mean, number one, thank the team. You know, all the support we all give each other. Everything that everybody on the team does. I didn't see this, you know, back in 2015. This happening in 2019. I just didn't even think about it. I don't think any of us did. But I'm telling you now, it's like every single time that I open Facebook and somebody has commented on a photograph of ours or a picture of ours, or they're a top fan. I just did air quotes if you're wondering. To have, well, because I do it in air quotes, because to me it's absolutely insane that someone is a fan of ours.
Yeah,
Right.
I want to watch and listen to
And it is the
Oh,
most,
yeah,
it is the
that's-
most
yeah.
humbling experience
Yeah.
I've ever experienced in my life, that people want to
Right.
meet us.
Yeah.
People want to
Oh,
sit down and
yeah.
talk to us. It absolutely blows my mind. We're just normal people. We're just out
Yeah.
doing what we do, and we would be doing it whether you're watching it or not.
Oh, dude, you're preaching to the choir
Hey,
here.
listen,
I
why
mean,
is there not an autographed 8x10 of the group in here?
that's what I want to
Oh, my
know.
Well, for one,
Yeah, we want
Yeah,
to
we
make that.
want that.
I want
I mean,
that.
there-
we can put it right.
we got that last year.
Everybody's
Yeah.
looking
Remember?
at me.
Well, that'll happen.
Yes, sir.
because
We want that.
We do have them.
we can put it right there, Mike. Right
We'll
here
have
on
to
the
get some
podcast.
good
Yeah.
photos.
Right there's where we
maybe
want it.
Absolutely.
Right
We'll get
there.
them.
Make us a poster.
Well, I mean,
Absolutely.
this trip, we've told Dawn either she takes more than 2,000 photos or she's off the team.
Which that shouldn't be a problem, right?
But yeah,
Only
it's-
2,000?
But honestly, it's like Christmas morning. You know, every single time we open a comment and we get some. Like the other day, somebody said that we are their light in their world. That was
That
a
is
comment,
awesome,
and that
man.
you know, it's not just a slogan for us to be a light in somebody's dark world, which that is our slogan. That's the truth. We want to be a help to a community or to a group of folks that maybe has no one else to talk to. You know, it's it's okay to be good for once. You know,
Absolutely.
you don't. Just because the world's full of evil doesn't mean everybody has to be evil. So, yeah, I just want to thank everybody involved in all the comments and shares and likes and all the top fans and all the YouTube subscribers, followers, just everything and everyone involved that allows us to come investigate a site, and it gets to know us, the real us. It's just all just been an absolute humbling experience.
Absolutely, especially you guys. This is our second time being here. Maybe Ryan's third.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
And it's people like you that makes it happen for us, and we appreciate you guys.
Hey, we appreciate you guys coming on. I mean,
the other day, well, it's been within the cultural center thing. It was this week, and I even shared it with the group chat with the team. It was funny to me because everybody recognizes me in town because I take pictures. I'm always a picture person. Everybody recognizes me for that.
They actually say that picture person.
Picture person. Take my picture.
Lady.
The picture lady.
I hear the picture lady more than I hear my name. And so I was at Fosto's getting coffee, and a lady was standing beside of me and kept looking at me, and I was talking to my daughter, and she finally leaned over and she said, "You're one of those members of the paranormal team, aren't you?"
Oh, that's awesome.
And I was like, "What? Really?" So I told her, "Yes, I was," and she was, all talking about it, and it was really cool. But I even messaged him and I said, "Wow!" I said, "That's the first time I've ever been recognized." I said, "I wasn't the picture lady today."
Oh, like I say, you guys are preaching to the choir. I remember we got our third subscriber because me and you were the first two subscribers. We're like, oh,
yeah, there you go.
Oh my God, we got a subscriber, and
that happens to us, whenever we get recognized for the podcast. Except that one time, the lady grabbed her kid. And
yeah.
The door, and totally
she was like, she took the flower out of her hand and just ripped it up and threw it away right in front of us. That's awesome. That was great. I was like, hey man, we made it, brother.
Yeah.
And we just hit 100 subscribers on our YouTube channel, and you could tell. I asked Mike, I was like, we'll never hit 100 subscribers, man. And here it is. Once again, the community does give back. It really does.
They really do.
Yep. Well, guys, this has been a blast. Thank you guys so much for coming on, and we cannot wait to get you guys on here again. Now, if you guys make it back from this trip, we definitely want to bring you guys back on here and get a first-hand account of what you guys experienced. Obviously, we're going to be watching this on YouTube.
Would y'all want to do that like mid-December?
Sure.
That way it's fresh. If we wait another year, it ain't going to be fresh.
No, I want you guys definitely back before that. Absolutely.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, that way we put the first, is there any way we can do this live where people can hear it?
Oh,
by that time,
maybe.
Yeah,
we can't make any. Yeah.
So anything's possible.
We don't want to make any promises on that, but it's possible.
No, let's make promises.
Let's make a promise. We can do it.
We never make promises.
Come on now, if we can go out there and do this, y'all can do it.
If we can do it live, you guys can do it live.
We never make promises. Let's make
a promise. You want to make a promise on this,
on the radio, just like we are now. I don't have to be Facebook Live or anything, but just live where people can tune in somewhere and listen to us talk about that trip.
We can definitely do that, man. We can.
Speaking of, we'll be live tomorrow night.
Well, actually, I don't know when this podcast is going live. Maybe tomorrow.
Yes.
I'm gonna try to get it up tomorrow a day early. So if you're listening on Saturday, me and Mike are actually gonna be at the USA Main Event Wrestling Show doing commentary.
Yeah, all right.
That's pretty cool stuff, man. Yeah. We got to do it last month. Mm-hmm. That was a blast. So
we'll be live on that one.
Yeah, hopefully. You never know.
I do want to throw it out there that if you are a top fan of First In Fright Paranormal, you get a lot of extra things with that. I know this will be out probably later than we release it, but tomorrow the Stanley Hotel trailer will drop on YouTube for everybody to see and watch. But if you're a top fan, you saw it 2 days ago.
Nice.
Right.
Okay.
Facebook allows us to speak to only top fans at times, and so we're allowed to give them things early access to.
Right. It's exclusive type deals there. Okay.
So be sure you're commenting, liking, and sharing if you want to be a top fan.
Perfect, man. That sounds amazing. Like I said, we're going to definitely get you guys back on here once you guys get back from this trip. I cannot wait to watch it, and I definitely can't wait to get you guys on here to get that first-hand account.
Oh, yeah.
And good luck.
Thanks.
My God, good luck, guys.
I'll be looking for that courage.
Yes.
I can see it now. The light is on, and the camera's facing that axe murder house door, and Alice is hyperventilating. I can see it.
Have a brown paper bag.
Funny, I had that same image too.
Here we go, guys.
All right, one more question. Okay, since you guys have done the overnight thing, who snores?
Me.
Andy.
Probably
I snore.
Andy, Alex, and my husband Jeremy.
Yeah.
And you notice two of those people ain't here.
Right,
You
right,
know,
right,
yeah,
right.
just
I'll admit it. I know I snore.
Yeah.
There goes the bus. Yeah. Ran right over.
is that a ghost? No.
Yeah.
Might keep the ghost away. Actually, it might be a good thing.
There you
You
go.
know. Well, guys, Mike, is anything you'd like to end this amazing podcast
Man.
with? Man?
I'm sure we can come up with so many
Oh,
more
yeah,
questions,
yes.
man. But we'll save it for the next
For the
one,
next go
sure.
around, definitely. Like I said, you guys definitely come back. Once again, best of luck on your trip, man. I know it's going to be an amazing experience for you guys, and it's been an amazing experience tonight. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Be a light in
Absolutely.
somebody's dark world.
Amen.
Thank you.
Well, until next week, Puds, y'all have a good one.
Stop touching me.
Hey, man.
Hilarious.
And not only that, David, I understand we're right at the end of our program.
No, we have got to
This has
go.
been a great event.
There's some people out there that hate us for this.